Got vision and destiny. Add elemental, that's chemistry. All those heroes, that's infinity. It's endgame, that's
Yugi peoples, welcome to the commentary. Alright, so this one right here, as you can tell from my playmat sleeves and dice and such, this is my armed Neos Shaddoll deck. And as you can see, once again, just like in every other tournament, pretty much this format, we are playing against Snake Eyes. But this time it is not pure Snake Eyes, it is Snake Eyes Fire King. And in this one, I feel like, the what is it? The Shaddoll fusion is, quite a bit better because you don't have to worry about what is it, like Savage Dragon and what's the other one, Baron, the synchro monsters that they're able to make with Pure Fire King that actually has the ability to negate Shaddoll fusion. So that matchup can be a little bit more tricky sometimes. Like I'd rather go against this one, like they put the like the Promethean princess and all that stuff inside the graveyard, and Ariel really gets off in there. I think like in the last video against Fire King, against against Snake Eyes, Pure Snake Eyes, really showed off like how good Super Poly is. And in this one you actually see like how good Shaddoll fusion really is. And yeah, as you can see, my opponent is doing Snake Eye Fire King things. And one of the most important things when I was doing my deck profile is the importance of Ghost. What was her name? The Ghost. No, not Reaper Cherries. What was her name? Ghost. Whichever one it is, Spooky Dogwood. Yeah, because you're gonna be letting your opponent like full combo without interruption, so they're gonna think of the most optimal board they can build. And when it's not the first game, they're also going to build that board optimally around Super Poly because they see that you're playing Super Poly, so they'll want to play that around that as well. So yeah, just beware of those things right there when you're cutting cards from the deck or changing things up. It's like you're going to have to sit through a lot of full combo that your opponent is doing. So on our turn, we'll start off with a hero lives into our boy Stratos, into the Appaloosa, which is fine. And here my opponent's going to see me activate Shaddoll fusion. He knows what's coming, so he's going to activate the Kieran effect to go ahead and pop something and start a special summoning chain, because he wants to get that the Garunics and such out of there. So it's like we're going to target these cards with Ariel, which is going to basically force him to put those out there on the board. We're gonna get the Fire Princess, of course. We're gonna try to get Ponix, and we're gonna aim for Garunix. But go ahead and force all those things out of the graveyard to get rid of the interruptions and such things that they're doing. So we are going to then like I said, use the App Cologne. Since he doesn't have the continuous spell down there, we use the App Cologne to target the Aravada. Then everything happens. He changed the princess to pop the Aravada, pop my Stratos, and we just continue going here. He's gonna get all those effects. In the end, Ariel only ends up hitting the Aravada, getting the Ponix banished, but then the field spell pops and destroys and blows up his entire board. And then the what's his name comes back, carrying a special summon something, destroy something, so he gets to destroy the App Cologne. But now my opponent is completely out of interruptions and things to do, so we're going to go ahead and summon our Vion here. And if he doesn't have like Ash or something after all that, then it's pretty much game time for us. We're going to go ahead and get that Shadow Mist effect to add our Graceful Charity. Then we're going to banish the Shadow Mist to go ahead and add that Polymerization. We also have Foolish Burial here. We're going to go ahead and use that to dump our Cross Keeper there, so we can go ahead and get some extra draws. Another thing I kind of messed up a little bit when I did this effect, I should have did Chain Link 1 Liquid Soldier or Graceful Charity, Chain Link 2 Cross Keeper, Chain Link 3 the Miracle Fusion. That way, you know, I have a higher chance of discarding something that I really don't want to draw again, just in case. Yeah. So we get the Miracle Fusion. We're going to draw 2, discard 1. We end up discarding I think we discarded Thrust maybe, but I really wanted to keep that Rivalry just in case things go bad. We're going to draw 2 and then put 1 to the bottom. And then, you know, we got the end shuffle, but I would have to end shuffle away my whatchamacallit. But we're going to go ahead and link those off into the Wonder Driver so we can get double use of my Miracle Fusion here. We're going to banish these guys right here. And I was trying to decide like what I wanted to do with it because, because one of them has to be an elemental hero fusion monster, so we go ahead and banish the Sunrise, and I do believe banish the Stratos. Then we're going to reactivate the Miracle Fusion to bring out our Big Chill, and then we're going to end shuffle here, and I do believe I end shuffle the Big Chill because it has to be elemental hero monster. But on the end shuffle, he goes ahead and hits me with the nib. I got too greedy. I shouldn't have did it. And I knew it as soon as I activated the end shuffle. I knew that was going to happen, that I was going to get nib. But luckily, we saved the Rivalry. We have a big nib token. And it's going to kind of just like stretch this game out. Like, I definitely got greedy there. I really should have just end shuffled on my, really should have just end shuffled on the what's his name? On the Sunrise, and use that, you know, to special summon out my Spirit of Neos, and then, you know, I would still have, you know, like Miracle Fusion and such to try to do things, you know, instead of just wasting it instead of just losing my entire board like that. So my opponent's gonna summon Diabellstar. We're going to flip up the Rivalry, and then, you know, we're just kind of getting the stats down for the nib token because the nib token is about to try to, you know, crash into this Diabellstar monster. We're going to do quite a bit of damages to it, but as you can see, I'm stuck with this nib token out there on the board, and I thought eventually, you know, like maybe, you know, we would grind it out, see how it goes, but he starts doing this thing where he recycles the Diabellstar along with the fill spell, and it just kind of does like this loop thing where he just keeps on putting cards back and summoning them, putting cards back and summoning them and stuff. So yeah, he ends up bringing out the the Garunix after I destroyed one of the fire monsters. But, you know, with them all having like different types and such, he's not able to do too much with it. And, you know, I was just checking to make sure he can't special summon one of, you know, different types and such when I do these things. I think we do have the thrust, so I just kind of wanted him to activate something, but he doesn't have anything to activate. So now we've drawn into like multiple tribute monsters here. We're just going to keep attacking over his stuff and going until I can finally get a second monster to set down on the board so that I can tribute off this nib token and get warriors on the board instead of whatever this Nibiru monster happens to be. And so now we finally draw the Blaze Man. We're going to set that to the board because this will allow us to tribute to set, you know, to set one of our double tribute monsters. So like I said, we can get to warriors and such on our board. It's just kind of unfortunately that we got stuck with this nib token out there, because usually, you know, it'd be like, you know, DP or something. And I actually, you know, I was talking about tributing them in order for the warrior thing, but I actually didn't think about it till a couple turns down the line. So yeah, being a bad hero player there, we're going to go ahead and activate the thrust. And I was trying to see if there was like anything that I could go get that would actually like help me in this crisis. And there's pretty much nothing. So I go ahead and grab the Neos Fusion. We just go ahead and set that. I think like one of the other things too that I forgot to mention when I think I mentioned it when I did the deck profile, was that I don't have a good going first target for thrust. So, you know, that might be something that might need to be added inside of the deck. So yeah, we're continuing on. And like I said, he's doing this thing where he's recycling the Diabellstar by sending a card, and, you know, then it puts it back out there on the board, and then he's like recycling, shuffling stuff. So I don't think he was ever going to reach the point where he could deck out. So, you know, I don't think like decking him out like became a choice. But here we finally realized that we contribute both of those to set a warrior onto the board. So now I will be able to get multiple warriors down. That way we can go ahead and finish this game off and take home this game 1 victory on the back of Shaddoll fusion. Like, it just forces them to use out so much stuff. So we're gonna go ahead and flip that OG Neos right there, and also check in to see if I had already used like my SP Little Knight, because SP Little Knight is also a warrior. Pretty good warrior there. We go ahead and what was it? Oh, we discarded the Crosskeeper to try to special summon a Mhero monster, and we're gonna go ahead and special out Stratos. And yeah, now it's just like, now that we got these multiple warriors on the board, we're gonna try to see if we can do anything. I think I ended up, no, I was gonna make Little Knight, and then I decided against it since I don't have what is that, like a fusion monster or extra deck monster pretty much to attack to make it. So we're gonna attack with the Neos, Diabell Star, recycle this stuff, attack over the what is that? Is it Effect Veiler or something like that? Nah, was it Ash? Oh yeah, it was Ash, but it ends up dying to the rivalry. So now he's got the Imperm to hit my rivalry, and I guess this is what he had been waiting for the entire time, was a chance for me to get the Nib token off the board so that he could try to, you know, get some stuff and get over the top of it. But I think like luckily at this point we had already drawn the Super Poly, so you know we're pretty much not worried here. One of the things that was like bad in this situation, as you can see, I had that set Neos fusion, but with the vanilla Neos on the board, I actually can't activate the Neos fusion, which is pretty bad for me. But yeah, as you can see, he starts doing snake eye things. He's going to put my Neos into the spell and trap card zone, which makes it really bad because now it's like really hard to get rid of it while it's back there. He's going to go ahead and use Nightmare Phoenix, Fair Phoenix effect, to go ahead and pop the rivalry so that he doesn't have to worry about that thing anymore. And then the Flame Burge will special summon his Snake Eye monsters. And now I'm debating on whether or not to go ahead and use the Super Poly. We're going to go ahead and use the Super Poly here on the Phoenix and one of the Snake Eye monsters to bring out Mud Dragon. The Snake Eye is going to attack into the Stratos, but I think he forgot about how much life points he had left after the Nib token attacked over the Diabell Star, so it does like more than enough damage for him to, you know, basically commit honorable Sodoko, whatever it's called, one of those words. But yeah, so we go ahead and take game 1 there. Ended up being a long game 1 because of being locked by the rivalry thing and such. But yeah, so now going into this game 2, I don't think there was much to change like side decking wise. I pretty much wanted to leave like the same cards off in there, you know, just kind of pretending like we're side decking cards. We didn't really like side anything in. I think I did side out the Blaze Man. I can't remember why I sided out the Blaze Man. There was some card in particular that I wanted off inside of there. But yeah, because Blaze Man, you know, it's good, but at the same time, Spirit of Neos can also fetch that polymerization if I need him to. He was just kind of in there just in case just in case I had already used Spirit of Neos' effect, and then I had in shuffle or Crosskeeper, and I was able to special summon another elemental hero. Blaze Man just, you know, was that different elemental hero. So yeah, as you can see, like I said, one of the things to just know when you're playing a going second deck that, you know, players going second cards, and you know, you have hand traps inside of the side deck, but most of those are for, you know, these like crazy OTK decks, like, you know, what is it, like Dark World that'll hand loop you and such, and then also decks that Shaddoll Fusion is not all that great against. So, you know, and I think one of those is Voiceless Voice, because they don't really use extra deck monsters like that. So, you know, against them, I would side in stuff like Ash, Droll, Ogre. I really like Ghost Ogre is one of my favorite cards. I really like that card because it could be used when I draw it as the 6th card. Cause like I'm the type who always draws the hand trap as card 6. So yeah, we got the super poly this time. Our hand is looking pretty good. Trying to decide where we start off with. We're gonna go ahead and start off with a Hero Lives to bring out our Stratos. We're gonna go ahead and chain that super poly. And yeah, we're going to bring out the Mud Dragon, and we're going to keep the Aravata from negating our Stratos' effect. But at the same time, he does have the Imperm to negate the Stratos effect. So yeah, we're just not getting Stratos effect here. And no, maybe it wasn't Imperm. What is that? Oh no, it's Summon Limit. So yeah, I get Summon Limited here. So now I pretty much just have the Stratos and I have the Mud Dragon out there, and you know, it just is what it is. We're gonna go ahead and activate Foolish Burial, sending the dragon to go ahead and pop the summon limit. So you know, so much utility in those Shaddoll monsters. I was loving it. We're gonna go ahead and declare our Mud Dragon's effect. I think I made him light, because you know, I didn't really mind if he hits the Vion, but I can also make the Starring Knight here in order to bring out this guy, our Spirit of Neos. And yeah, so down comes the, what's his name, Kieran to pop, bring out Aravata again, Garunix, you know, and all those effect things happen. So he's effectively able to get rid of a lot of my, you know, my main thing that I was trying to do there. And he also forces the battle phase because I have to worry about the Aravata negating my Spirit of Neos' effect. So we're going to go ahead and try to make the Starring Knight here, but it's not going to work because of the Princess. So unfortunately, they did a lot of things that's able to stop me from, you know, winning the game. He kind of like takes for granted that he can enter into the battle phase and try to go for game. And we're going to hit him with the Spirit of Neos. Like, just opponents don't be expecting it. It's so good against decks that don't put up like negates and such. So we go ahead and use that to save us. But he's able to do so much more stuff, and we're getting really close to time because our game 1 took so long. So I decide to go ahead and just let him have that, in which I probably should have decided to let him have it earlier, because now it's like at the point to where when we enter into this game 3, there's not really much time left at all. So it's not like he has to like actually like start playing and doing things in order to get hit with this spooky dogwood. So that is like one thing to remember, is to, you know, go ahead and scoop or give it to them with about 5 minutes or so left, because they really can't sit there on their hand for like 5 minutes. So it's just like they're either going to summon and do stuff, or you're going to get a turn to try to hurry up and force some damage off in there. And typically when, you know, we go into this like this, I side out, you know, the Shaddoll fusion and such and things like that, because I want to try to use hand traps to stop my opponent's turn as quick as possible. So we side in the Ash, the Ogres, the Droll, the Spooky Dogwood, just like whatever hand traps and such I can to end my opponent's turn as fast as we can. So yeah, the game does end up being a draw, but I feel like this is one of the better games that I played that showed off how good Shaddoll Fusion can be against the Fire King Snake Eye deck. And yeah, just like, you know, turned out pretty good. And I was really liking and enjoying the deck. Like, the only problem is like there were too many games where I would draw the goddamn OG Neos and the Dark Arm Dragon. It was just so bad sometimes. But overall, yeah, I really enjoyed playing the deck, had a lot of fun with it, had some good finishes with it. And yeah, appreciate everybody for staying a while to listen, and I will catch y'all on the next video.
And for me, my wingman, he come through, he level up, he go cool, he shining out and popping to over 9K. That's a breakthrough. We on top now. Here's a look at